estate in India are few and far in between. So, when you get an industry veteran writing a book titled The Good, the Bad and the Unanswered, you have to find out what's in it. Joining me is the author Deepesh Salgia, real estate veteran, and of course the author of this book. So, Deepesh, let me ask you, what is in this book for the common man, or has it been written for the industry? Why should, let's say, a home buyer or seller read your book?
Okay. So while it is a business book, it is about business insights, but it really helps the user understand the mind of a developer. You know, most of the books or most of the published material in real estate would normally give you information or data like housing prices, number of units sold, but they would never give the ringside view. Now, with this kind of a view, people will be in a better position to really understand their housing needs and also better negotiate with the developer. So basically, if you see any consumer, one of the biggest expenditure in the household income is either rent or EMI. And housing purchase decision is one of the biggest financial transaction that most families do. So it's very important that they concentrate on negotiations and understanding the other side's mind. Okay. Secondly, what also happens, a lot of young people are looking at employment in real estate. They really don't know how the industry works. What is the finer nuances of the industry? So it really helps the young user before deciding their career to have a look of the industry from an inside perspective. And most importantly, even for redeveloping tenants, today a lot of tenants are not finding developers. How to find a developer? Why they're not coming to you? These are another questions that this book answers, and will be helpful to consumers, tenants, and even to management students.
I think you've raised a very important point that, for people looking at a real estate as a profession, because it is a very large part of our GDP and economy, this is a good one to read. And if you are looking at redeveloping your own society, which is very prevalent in Mumbai, because there are people going in for it, they get together as a community and want to redevelop their property, they have to understand what are the nuances behind that redevelopment. You also touch on another important issue in the book on why home ownership is so expensive in India. Do you have a solution as well, Deepesh, on how we can actually make more housing or housing more affordable?
Yeah. So besides the 125 years of history of real estate, I also cover issues on what's the way forward. And the way forward, one of the most important exercises country has to do is to make homes affordable. Now, I have taken multiple approaches towards this. And one of the important approaches that I've taken is that you cannot make homes affordable if the cost of developers doesn't come down. So towards that, I'm saying, let's say, what are the biggest costs for developers? One is the land cost, and second, the financing cost. Now, if you talk about land cost, now why is land expensive? The one biggest reason for land being expensive is that most of the good land within city area is locked up in disputes among owners, among family members, between landlord, tenants, etc. And there is no way courts can settle all these disputes. We have 3 crore disputes. Courts don't have that much bandwidth. So I am saying, let government allow private arbitrators, private reconciliation agencies to come into picture, authorized by the Bar Council or some government body under Arbitration Act. And there will be some thousand such bodies across India. So tenants, small tenants, landlords, co-owners can come and settle the disputes, because these disputes are not legal in nature. They are mostly commercial in nature, or some ego fight between co-owners. So these people will be more adept at settling these issues. Once that much land is available in the market, good title, you have good supply of land. That will bring the price of land down. Second is also, I have suggested a reformation of the GST structure. Today, basically what happens is that if you buy under construction, you pay 5% GST. If you buy ready, you pay 0 GST. So why would a consumer buy under construction? So then what happens to developer? How does rates raise fund? He borrows at very high rates. What happens? Cost of building increases. Or he is unable to borrow, which means he defaults, which means supply comes down. So either way, it's anti-consumer. So I'm saying, let the GST structure be in such a way that there is no disincentive to buy under construction. Developer gets money under construction, and government does not lose revenue. So that is what another way I have proposed in the book.
And you've said 2.5%. You've said instead of 5% for under construction and 0 for ready properties, have a standard 2.5%.
Standard 2.5%.
All right, we conclude because we are totally running out of time.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, and the last thing I've suggested is that we cannot solve affordable housing problem by solving problem in few cities. We need affordable housing across India, and for that it is also important that we don't have just few organized developers or few big players. We need large number of developers across India who are all organized. So the approach should be how to make these small developers organize, get them organized or get them institutionalized.
Deepesh, we've run out of time, but it's a really good suggestion. And, wrapping out from that, once the developer gets institutionalized, his cost of funding also from the banks and private equity companies comes down. So it's a win-win for everybody. Thank you for joining me, and all the very best for your book. There's another aspect of Deepesh Salgia's book where he talks about usership rather than ownership of real estate. We'll have that conversation maybe sometime in future, but thanks for joining me. Goodbye.